And welcome back to the channel. As you can already tell by the title, we are going to be working on the LS, hopefully fixing some issues that we have with it and get it back on the road. I will also run through with you guys some parts and stuff that I do have for this, some plans, because there are going to be making some changes, and there are definitely some things that we need to fix on the LS before starting to look into maybe new bumper and a couple, I got fenders and stuff, so we're all good there. But I do want to get her painted and I want to get it set. So I will catch you guys in a couple. We'll make sure she starts, pull it in the driveway, and get started on today. Well, she is in the air, so I guess it's time to check underneath, and I'll show you guys what I am looking at. Alright, so underneath, I did put some quick steel the other day just because there looked like there was a pinhole, and that really didn't do it. So just so you guys know, if anybody's in a bind and you need to plug a hole or something, that stuff is like putty and then turns to cement. Works really well. But my trans is leaking fluid. So if you guys can tell, this bolt head and that bolt head, they tend to grab, or I guess fill with trans fluid. And so what I'm thinking is it is coming from right there. At first I thought it was underneath, just because it is, you know, scratched up and stuff a little bit. But from driving it and being with LEP and going and get like errands and stuff, I came back and I checked it the other day and it seemed like it was coming from up top. So it would kind of make sense, being that these heads are filling with fluid, being that it came from there instead of, you know, down here. And it doesn't look like any of the other ones are. Of course it is, you know, a little dirty and stuff. The car's basically on the ground just picking up trash. So what I did notice, if you can see right there, that the silicone, because these didn't come, or at least when you redo them, they don't come with a gasket. What you do is you use sealant, but you can come right here and you can see that I can actually take off the silicone or the gasket, whatever the actual stock comes with, because this has never been done. So what I am thinking is that the heat from the exhaust, being that I'm basically open header, I have open header and then cat, which will be dealt with. I'm gonna do something with that soon. I think the heat from this ended up kind of heating up some of this around here, causing it to kind of, you know, start to spew out in terms of the gasket actually spewing out. So I think there is a little crack. I can see that it is a little bit dented right there, so maybe something flew up and hit it. But I think what we're gonna do is actually take the pan off and see from there. So we'll see how the gasket looks. We'll see if we can find anything else wrong with it and maybe just redo that. Upon further inspection, I took a rag and tried to wipe down almost most of the grease and grime and stuff around here. And before I started taking everything off, I'm like, you know what, why don't I just see if these two are loose? And so they were loose, and I went around and started checking all of the other ones, and every single other one was pretty loose as well. So I'm not thinking that's anything on my end because this pan has never been off. I just think it's because the gasket in between the pan and the actual trans is getting worn out. So of course all the bolts are a little bit loose because they just need to be tightened to squeeze down a bit more. So what I'm gonna do now is actually go and start up the vehicle, let it run for a little bit and see if anything pisses out. If you noticed, I'm sure you guys have all seen this on my Instagram. If you haven't, a while ago I caught a water sewage drain in the middle of the street, and well, it did that. So same thing with my windshield. That happened the same day, and that's kind of why I haven't been driving it as much. So we will go over that today because I am going to be addressing that here in the near future. But let's start at the LS. We'll put the pan underneath, see if she leaks, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that was the issue. So for the time being, what I currently did is took out the jack stands and I let it run for a couple just to see if it would leak. So far, no leaks. I did get in the car and just went through reverse, neutral, drive, just kind of back and forth, let it sit there for a minute, and it still looked like no leaks, but I just want to make sure that it had nothing to do with the front of the vehicle actually being up. So I took the jack stands out and we are letting it sit right now. It is not completely on the ground, but I just didn't want to go through the hassle of lifting it up again, so I made it pretty flat, or at least enough flat that the pan is underneath and I can look underneath and see. So for the time being, I'm gonna let it run for a couple. I may bring it around the neighborhood just to see if driving it does anything different. I doubt it, but yeah, I mean, this might be a simple fix and kind of give me some motivation to get back into working on this thing. So we shall see. I will update you guys in a couple and see if she's leaking, but fingers crossed. Might have been an easy save. While she is running and warm, gonna take her for a ride. When we get back here, we'll check the trans fluid again, the level. I do have some extra if we need to fill her up, and let's hope for the best. We are back from the test drive and everything so far looks good. I just lifted up the car and checked everything out. Looks dry still. Took the cardboard actually that was there and folded it in half so that the clean side would be up top. Put it underneath there as well, just in case anything decides to leak. But I figured since this wasn't a crazy video, I'd go a little bit more in depth on what we plan on doing. So as you guys can tell, once I move this stock, the floor in the middle is bubbled up. It's kind of hard to tell on camera, but it's a solid like 6 inches, as you guys saw from underneath the car. There's a couple parts that it started to spread on the seam around the floor. We didn't go crazy and weld all the way around the floor because, you know, it's not a structural piece. So of course we put, you know, some tacks all the way around and it's held up even to the damage that was done. But for future reference, we're going to be fixing the floor. I do want to start on that in like a week or so. You guys are probably tired of me telling you what I'm gonna do instead of just doing it, but that is the plan. We're trying to finish up with the shop And then if anybody has a plug for windshields, my insurance doesn't cover full coverage or doesn't cover windshields, or I don't know. I called them and they couldn't do it. So if you guys have anybody that can hook it up cheap on windshields, let me know. I would love to get that cleaned up and get rid of all that cracking, because it actually has kind of gotten worse. I mean, it was pretty bad to start with, but now it's finally started to make its way all the way over there. And yeah, I'm over that. So next is get rid of these spindles, throw my uppers on, remake another set of spindles for less camber. And then in the rear, I am probably gonna take out a couple degrees, keep it around -15. And then I also have to cut and tub for the rear. Front needs to be cut out, whole 9 yards, but the car is gonna end up being on jack stands for a long time until we get around to doing that. I know in other videos I have explained, I still have the fuel cell sitting in the back seat of my truck with all the attachments and pieces and all of that stuff. So we will get around to doing that. I just try not to bother my parents too much here at the house until the shop is done. But that should be wrapping it up here soon. So I do want to get there, get some cars on jack stands at least until we can, you know, get lifts down the road and start going ham. I am gonna have to get a new front bumper. I am gonna go with a fiberglass bumper, I do think, just because I want to shorten this. I'm gonna be going lower in the front, and it's kind of hard to shorten plastic, I feel like, especially like with all the tabs and stuff broken right here where the fender is. I do have a new fender, so I will be putting that on as well. But I think it'd be easiest to get a fiberglass bumper, shorten it myself, and yeah, get it off the ground. So probably gonna end up taking off all of the little side skirt things, the stock ones. There's one piece right here that's already off, just so I can really put it on its nuts and hopefully tuck close to lug nuts. I know it sounds crazy, but it can be done, and it will be done all in due time. But with that being said, I think it's time to wash the import. The Cima is, well, has been sold for like 2 weeks kind of already to a good friend of mine. So I'll add that into the video when they show up and explain a little more. But I can't have a customer come and buy a vehicle off me when it's all dirty and dusty. It looks good on camera, I think, but yeah, man, Y33 Cima. If you guys didn't know, or this is your first time watching a video, I do import as well. So sold quite a few imports over the past like year or so, and have a lot more coming on the way. So follow that. I'll leave it somewhere like here or here or down below in the description. I will put that Instagram as well if you guys want to check that out. But let's get to washing this thing, and then we'll catch up with the boys when they pull up to scoop her up on the way. So follow that. I'll leave it somewhere like here or here or down below in the description. I will put that Instagram as well if you guys want to check that out. But let's get to wash. Have a lot more coming on the way. So follow that. I'll leave it somewhere like here or here or down below in the description. I will put that Instagram as well if you guys want to check that out. But let's get to wash. Have a lot more coming on the way. So follow that. I'll leave it somewhere like here or here or down below in the description. And guess who we are back with? No surprise, imports. We've got the Cook brothers, and they picked up the Cima. So we washed it up earlier, got it all sparkly and nice, but it's actually not going to Ron, surprisingly. Yeah. Say hello to the new customer. Yes, hello. Sir. Keeping it in the family. Big body right hand drive imports. Yeah, actually, I don't think you were really looking for a big body, right? Until I hit you up.
Car.
Yeah,
a brand new car, so yeah.
Brand new.
Something cooler than a Miata.
Yes, sir. Well, you guys have seen a little bit around the Cima already, and this is the V8 version. Has a bunch of cool doodads, and he's gonna pick up some ladies, right?
Heck yeah, a bunch of them.
So of course Ron brought out the Celsior
with some whack ass stance. Whack ass stance.
Well, there's a long story behind those wheels,
yeah.
Which you guys can go check out his video. I'll put a little tag pop up or something right here, somewhere up there. You guys go check it out. His car was seized by the federal government.
Yeah,
so
thanks FHP.
Yep, we'll keep it at that. And surprise, surprise, go check it out. And you guys, anybody that's an OG to the channel might recognize the car. So long story behind that. We might have to do something and kind of explain, because it was nothing on my end, nothing on Ron's end. It was just grimy dudes.
Yeah, don't associate that with OZ Imports. Like, make sure y'all do that. I've tried to make that clear when people have asked me. This is not Logan's fault. I'm still buying fucking cars from him.
Exactly. Here we are. And then I don't know, might have to hook everybody up too. The wifey needs one.
I know. Sam will be next.
You need a project, you need a daily, you need a project for the daily, but I figured I would give you guys a little bit of intel, and you guys can go, I'll put his Instagram right here if you guys want to go check that out. I think he's private, but might accept a couple of you guys.
A couple.
And maybe some mods on the channel, so that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%.
But
Cima's gonna be slammed. So.
Yes, sir. Eventually, right? Eventually. There we go. Maybe slide it a bit. There we go. But anyways, LS is somewhat fixed. Celsior pulled up, and the boys are taking home another import. Good old day. Didn't have to drop the pan and stuff, so I'm excited for that. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Catch you guys on the next one, and go get some insight video on Mr. Ron's channel as well. I think they're gonna do some mobs and some walkthrough and stuff with the Cima. So I will catch you guys on the next one.